did the most difficult part that I was really afraid of. We hooked up the Stinger, boys and girls. It took a forklift, like a 50-ton forklift, and me and this guy Ray, my buddy, who's helping me because he works with them all the time, and this is my second time, maybe third time using Stinger. I just worked on two borrowed trailers. So now what we gotta do is he has to take the Jeep off. I'm gonna disconnect from the trailer, drop the trailer, unhook all lines, and then we're gonna flip this thing, the flip box, right? And that's gonna be tricky, hooking up all hoses, the PTO hoses, so that and then I have to change my kingpin, because this thing has its own kingpin, so I gotta take this one out so it doesn't hit the frame when I'm turning. And then the Jeep will go in between the truck and the trailer, and then somehow I have to back to the trailer, grab the neck and disconnect, and then we can load. Alright, so now what I have left to do on the Stinger is hook up all the lines, and there's a very tight in there, but they gave me nice indicators which connector goes into which, like, you know, male, female. So not that difficult, and it helps that it's pretty warm. It's like 35 F plus 3 Celsius. Nice. Into some trouble with the Stinger. First, it was super hard to put the pins in, and then when the pins went in, we couldn't connect the air lines because there's a couple of bolts that hold the winch, you know, the winch on the Stinger, and that bolt with that little bracket was right next to you know, to the female connectors where the air lines go, and we just couldn't, so we had to borrow a grinder from the guys and grind that piece of metal, and now it's super sharp, not good. So I gotta cut it some more when I have time, you know, because it's really in the way, because they never hooked up the Stinger at the plant, which I think is an oversight. I mean, they hooked up the pins, but they never hooked up the air lines, otherwise they would have seen right away that something is amiss, you know. Okay. Let me show you guys what we achieved so far. So the neck is down. The big neck is down, everything is connected, including the PTO was over there. Yeah, so it's the hose was on the neck, and I hook up to the Jeep, but now my hose is too long, the PTO hose. I had to wrap it like this, and they gave me PTO connectors right on the Jeep, so I hooked up to the Jeep. These are so this is gonna go to the neck on the trailer. It has PTO connectors, you see, and they gave me these brand new ones. And there's this thing over here, that's your air for the airbags, and we have these chains that I made sure are loose, that prevents it from overextending the bags. But the biggest pain in the butt was the Stinger, but now it's all connected. Now, in case somebody from JC Trail is watching this, they did a little boo-boo in there, because this is installed. See this part that holds the jack? There's another one on the other side, and it just prevents this from going in. So we have to grind it, and I'll have to grind it more. when I have more time. And now it's super sharp over there, so we'll put a rubber, otherwise it can cut the hose. Super tight in here. Like this winch would be really great to have it somewhere here a little bit away, but anyway, everything is hooked up. And I checked the air. There's an air box on the other side. Air was going in, so this part is all connected. So all I gotta do now is hook up to the neck and drag it away. Let me see. Oh, it has a, that's for the fifth wheel. And drag away the neck, and then we can load. All right, then I asked the guy to move those pieces of steel so that I have more room in here. But yeah, it's gonna be tricky, you know. Backing, it's like a little tractor trailer back under the wow, this is loose. Oh yeah, okay, so it's gonna get tight once I pick it up. All right, let's go hook up. Yeah, I've been here since 8 o'clock. Time now is 12, I think 12:30 local time, because we're on Central Time. All right, guys, it's getting dark, so I thought I would just show you the setup. So I'm supposed to sleep somewhere there because I cannot leave. I don't have my permits, but everything seems to be working. Touch wood, you know. My biggest concern was the stinger, and then concern number 2 was hydraulics. No, I was able to tie it down, except I had to go, my hose now is too long, so I had to go like this around, and I put a bungee cord in there, so it's not going anywhere. And it's not too tight here, so it's okay. So the Jeep, the huge flip box, and there's air in there. You see the fenders are up, which means that there's air. Everything is connected here, and this is the beast. And this one is bigger than the last one I did before, and so of course you see that's my configuration. I wanted to do this 2+2. Actually, I might do that next time, because I remember in my last video the axle of this monster, when I ran 4+4, I thought the axle was here, you know. But now, since actually it's so we put it here, and then the front axle, because I told him, I said let's put it here, and the front axle was sitting here right where the light is, which is not good, like too much weight on the back, you know. And then I measured the space, how much space we will have if we move it like this. So the guys went for lunch, and then I said, I'm sorry, but we gotta move it. I made a mistake. Like, you know, all these machines are different, depends on the bucket, you know, but this one is, I think this one is a bit shorter. I'm gonna watch that video again. I'll post a link, like the one I did from Ritchie Brothers to New York State. Remember where I had to pay to the guy because there was nobody to help? And here I was like running around, and the guys were communicating via the radio, the operator, and then this guy inside over here. So it was pretty cool. And so yeah, so then we just moved it that way, and so now it's pretty close to the front, but nothing is touching. And then you see the deck sits like this. We put those timbers that were under my Stinger before, and we're position 3. The airbags seem okay. Like the last ones are a bit tall, which means that they don't have too much weight on them, but like, what do you do? I think it would still help if I had no, I cannot do it. This is too tight. This side is too tight. I cannot put the shims, you know. You see over here it's touching, but yeah, it's a bit tall. You see how it's raised, and now it's pushing this down, but it's not that heavy. It's 80,000 pounds, but so that's what it is. So the air is in, so this is gonna, you know, equalize the pressure, And I got 2 chains like this, which I don't like to do because this is the stinger, right? So I tied up to the stinger, but since they have 4 pins, should be okay. Then I put 2 chains in there on that kind of like semi-axle. And again, this is my flip axle. But what do? I have to tie it down, right? And then here I spent like half an hour trying to put 1 chain on each side. Did not work because the machine sits a bit off. That's the best we could have done, and so there's less space here, and so I ended up doing 2 chains like this and then putting a binder. I love those binders with the big slip hook, you know, and just connect it like that. So this is like solid chain. I like this. And then I saw this guy Ray that was helping me. They said they don't like tying down this part, but I don't see why not, because my bed sits actually on the frame, right? So this pushes it into the frame. But what they were doing, they were putting hooks into that little lip in there, you know, like this. They're putting hook in here, and there's a clear side, do not lift. And they would put 1 hook like this, drag that way, and then 1 hook the other way, this way. And they were saying that the cylinders in here, so, but you know, cylinders affect that part too, so I don't know. It sits on the deck, right? That's how I did last time. I kind of like it like this. And probably the most labor intensive was this, you know, unbelievable. I don't know, I was here like 40 minutes probably. But what I did is there's only 1 tie down in there, and I came up with a, I think, brilliant idea. I'm a genius. Brilliant idea where I attached 2 of my shackles, and this way I was able to do 2 chains per that monster eye, because that's pretty massive, right? And so I did 2 this way, 2 that way. Hold on. 1 chain is way down over there. Oh, it's okay. So yeah, so now I just need to tie down my timbers, attach flags, and then pull out of here, because they closed the gate, they said, at 5:30. No idea what the time now is, but I'm not sure where I'm gonna park. They said park on the left so that you don't block the traffic. And they said you must clear the gate so that they can close the gate. And I don't want to go on the main road. There's a police station down there. But they said if I cannot park here, just go behind this building. There's a parking lot for cars, and they said it's pretty big. You can park near the fence. So I don't know, I think I might need to do that. But I really guys, I'm really happy with this. I feel like a real freaking heavy hauler. Took whole day. Like this thing, it took 2 hours. And JC Trailer, if you watch this next time, do not give the customer any of the parts unless you totally hook them up. Because we had so much trouble with the air hoses there, because the winch is in the way. The way they connected the bolts that hold the winch right opposite of the air hose connector. Like, who does it like that? But anyway, I just hope this thing does not start twisting on me. That's what can happen, you know, when you have a weak metal or something. I remember one guy said he lost a load because he bought a cheap aftermarket flip box, this part. So this is, you know, really important, right? It has to be strong. But I do see, yeah, it's pretty much like it's reinforced. That seems pretty heavy, you know, heavy duty. This one is big, this one is the same height as mine, but then you see here they just went like this. But yeah, if this thing starts twisting, you know, then this whole thing will start moving. And I had to move my fifth wheel a bit this way because I was too close. So basically, in case some guys sometimes wonder, you know, where do you put your fifth wheels? And I didn't even touch this one. This one is all the way forward, right? And this is what I got in the back. I got 3 feet, right? So it would be good to go forward a bit more, but then you need a longer Jeep, right? And then here again, you just leave minimum distance so that you don't catch the Jeep when you turn, right? So you see, like, that's my middle between my axles. So I'm just off to the front a little bit just so I can load my front axle. But in Alberta it's only 16,000 pounds. They don't give you 20. And you can tell this is a brand new Jeep because it still has stickers on the tires. Very cool. So now I just need to tie down the timbers, and I guess I can attach the signs over there, and then I need to measure. I still didn't even order anything, you know, no permits. There was no time. Whole day was spent doing this, dropping. And then of course, imagine I had to attach the neck to the trailer on the Jeep. Can you believe this? You know how normally when I'm hooking back to the trailer, this thing sits on the truck, right? But this time it was sitting on like this on the Jeep, so I had to do all this and try to hit it with no help, no guidance. Unbelievable. And it took like, I don't know, 4 or 5 attempts. And it's like backing a tractor trailer, right? You have to watch your tires in the mirror, and you have to turn the wheel in the opposite way where you want the end of the Jeep to go. And then I jumped out like, I don't know, 3 or 4 times to check, but now everything is cool. The handle is locked, everything is connected. This one got stuck, didn't want to disconnect, because last time I disconnected these was 2 weeks ago. And actually this guy Ray had glad hands in here. You know, that's what I'm gonna do. They say glad hands, they're much more reliable, just like what you have, you know, on the front. That's what they do. They use glad hands in here because this is all air, right? This is not hydraulic. Like, these are really finicky. They don't like dirt, rust, they seize. So that's one thing I'm gonna do. And you see the Jeep has this kind of risers, and that's where my legs go. So you have to make sure that the Jeep is perfectly lined up with the trailer, otherwise those legs will not sit properly. But so basically a few minor issues, but I'm very thankful to this cat in here, cat guys, especially Shane. Thank you, Shane. This was the gentleman who loaded this, and he was very patient. And I warned him that this is my first time with the Jeep and Stinger, and so he was super patient, gave me all the room I need. Thank you. All right, let's finish this and go find a place to park for the night.